Thanks for tuning in to the Victory is Greater Than the Struggle, an ex-lesbian podcast with myself, your host, Jessica Newsom. All right, so a question that I get a lot is, what do I do about my friends, right? What about your friends? Early 90s. Anyway, so when it comes down to walking out of the LGBTQ lifestyle, like God's talking to you, he's like, this isn't what I have for you, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna answer that call, I'm gonna follow through with what God wants me to do, which is walking away from sin. And it's so much sin that we're walking away from. We aren't perfect, right? For me, it was not just walking away from homosexuality, but it was drinking, it was smoking, it was partying, right? It was toxic relationships. So when we are on this journey, what do we tell our friends? People hit me up with this and they're like, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. I want them to understand. I don't think they're going to understand. Pump the brakes. Hold up. They are not going to understand. If they are not following God, right, which you weren't before, they're not going to understand. Just like you didn't quite understand it all. And so there's two types of friends that I always find, okay? When it comes to walking away from the LGBTQ lifestyle, you hear my dog like really drinking that water. Sorry about that. But when it comes down to walking away from the LGBTQ lifestyle, walking out of homosexuality, your friends will either not get it and totally distance themselves because they're like, what has happened to you? What's going on? I don't get this. You were here with us. We had this, this is what you thought, what we thought about Christianity. Then all of a sudden overnight, boom, like you switched it up. And, sometimes they're scared, like, what happened? And they're repelled. They're repelled by the change. Maybe they're repelled by the light in you. Whatever the case is, they just don't know how to handle it. And a lot of times they'll walk away. The second type of friend, it will be someone that might understand the concept of following God, but they're unable to provide that biblical support, right? So they understand the concept, like, okay, God's talking to you. You're going to follow him. So you're going to walk away from this because it's dragging you down, right? And so you want to be holding God. Okay, fine. But they don't know how to deal with things past that. So when you start to not drink as much and then eventually stop getting trashed all the time, when you start going to church and pulling away from hanging out, doing the things that you normally did with them that did not edify you, that did not lift you up and did not propel you towards God, sometimes friends will get really upset. They'll get really frustrated and they'll be like, yo, what, you're too good for us now? You're too good like to hang out with us? So what are you saying? Like, we're sinners and we're horrible people, so you need to stay away from us? It sucks. It super sucks, guys. But that is what you will encounter most of the time. And so in that, what I tell people is be strong. You just got to be strong, point blank, period. Whichever category that your friend falls into, that your friends fall into, maybe, they kind of pull some of your other friends away, whatever, and you just feel like you've been outcasted, all that stuff. Like, it sucks. It sucks. But the good thing about God is that he will not tell you to take away something if he wasn't going to fill that void, right? And so sometimes it's about walking with him in a season of being by yourself with God so that you can grow and mature. Because maybe if you were around your friends, they wouldn't help you to mature in the things of God. They'd kind of pull you back. They'd kind of drag you down. And it's not on purpose, right? They're just being themselves, but you're trying to walk away from those things, right? So who you were, you're trying to walk away from. If you're around people that are who you were, you got to walk away. There's times when God will keep, a couple of people in your life that are not toxic, and that's awesome. That's awesome. People who get it and they're patient and they're understanding and all of that stuff. I love that. That's good. But that doesn't happen all the time. And so it's taking that leap of faith and saying, you know what? I don't get it. I don't understand why, these people are walking away. I don't understand why it seems as though things are being taken from me, right? God isn't trying to take them from you. He's trying to fill you. And so it's also about having that proper perspective. You feel me? Like, it's having that proper perspective. Okay, God, I know that things are being taken away, but you need to make room for my growth. How can I grow when it's all cluttered, when my mind and my life is all cluttered and filled up with stuff and junk and toxic stuff, right? There's no room for God in that. So God has to remove some stuff so he can fill up that space with him, right? So he begins to take over and take control over your life, over your mind, and begins to really just make you whole and complete in him. And so sometimes what I find is that people who are not obedient to that, people who are just like, you know what, I'm not going to let go of these people, they stay stuck. Their growth is stagnant, or it's like as slow as a snail. What happens in that case? When people do not say yes fully to God, they don't let go of things that he's asking them to let go of, right? And it's just a very slow growth. What happens is people oftentimes look at God and go, God, how come I'm going through all of this? How come my growth is so slow? How come nothing is changing? God's like, wait a second, don't throw it on me. I can grow you a lot quicker if you do it my way, not half my way, but all my way. And so God's like, yo, I need for you to let go of what I'm asking you to let go of and cling to what I'm asking you to cling to. What is he asking us to cling to? He's asking us to cling to him, to his word, right? Get up. Instead of sleeping for an extra hour because you can, get up and spend time in worship and prayer, right? Get up and maybe go for a jog. Do things that are productive. Do things that will be healthy for your mental health and your emotional health, right? Let go of those exes that you're kind of holding on to with a string, and you just have them on the side in reserve for just in case you need a good emotional boost, just in case you need to feel a little bit of comfort. You can kind of bring them on in so they could fill that gap. But all that is doing is tearing you down and destroying the foundation, the growth that God is wanting to do in your own life. Thinking and dwelling on the past. Thinking and dwelling on the past. Thinking about, man, if things went a different way, I wouldn't be here. If he didn't leave me, if she didn't leave me, if this didn't happen, shoulda, coulda, woulda. The more we dwell on the past, the more we will also stay stuck. And that's not a place that we want to be. Don't dwell on the past. Don't even dwell on yesterday. Don't dwell on the decision that you made and you're like, man, I totally screwed up, right? Get over it. Move forward. Forgive yourself, right? And try to be better the next time. Don't make excuses for it, and justify it. No, but try to do better. Try to learn from your mistakes. And what I always try to do, I try to learn from other people's mistakes, hands down, because I am really good at learning from my own mistakes, and I don't like it. I don't like it because it sometimes sets me back. It sets me back emotionally. It sets me back with the spider webs, I like to call them. Every sin, every stronghold, it is a spider. Every spider has a web. And if you look at your mind and you kind of imagine your mind, before Christ, full of these spiders and cobwebs, God's like, yo, I got to clear all this out. But when we allow stuff to come back, when we dwell on stuff from the past, we're opening up that door and saying, come on, spider, you can come back in and start creating that web. God's going to have to go back in and begin to take it down again and then kill the spider, right? So it's moving forward and not dwelling on the past, not dwelling on thoughts and attitudes that do not line up with God. The thoughts of, I'm lonely, I miss her. The attitudes of, man, this will never work out for me. I will never be like Jessica, where Jessica is. Girl, bye, you don't know me, right? You have no clue where I am. I am not perfect at all. Thank God I'm not where I used to be. I'm glad about that. But don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to others. Just follow God and keep holding on to his hand. He will guide us into the right paths at all times. And even when things seem super difficult and super tough, and you're just like, man, I'm about to throw in the towel because this is difficult. I've been there. Don't give up. Just don't give up, and don't let go of his hands. Just keep pressing, keep pushing, but keep doing what God is asking you to do. Keep seeking him. Keep reading, keep worshiping. Man, I tell y'all, if y'all just really like put some of my advice into practice, you'll be good. Shoot, if I put more of my advice into practice in my own life, I will be better off. But sometimes life gets the best of us, right? Netflix, my God, it gets the best of me sometimes. I need to work on that. But pray for me as I will continue to pray for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this, if you're watching the not watching. If you're listening to this on a podcast, please give me a 5-star review and share it with other people. Pretty please. The more you do this, the more my podcast will be seen to other viewers. If you're checking me out on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe and share as well. I love you guys. If you want to donate to this ministry, we would gladly appreciate it because it helps for me to continue to do what I do, which is a lot of one-on-one ministering with other people whom I do not charge at all. I give myself to people freely. They have full access to me. And so in order to do that, I need your support. So you can go to my website, www.loveatthecross.com. There's a donate button. We got some like little buttons here if you're checking out on YouTube. So please click on that and do your thing. Love you.